to this computer. All right, folks, it's that time. Welcome to Take a Warrior Fishing Inc. podcast number 4. My name is Ken Wells. I am your Director of Warrior Services and Relations. And as always, with me is our president and founder of Take a Warrior Fishing Inc., Mr. Dwayne Yuri. Dwayne, how is it going? I know we have so much to talk about. There's been a lot going on since our last podcast.
Yeah, there's a little bit going on. I don't even know what day it is. Good times.
Yeah. Well,
But
recently I know.
I do need to correct you. You've already.
What's that? Say that again.
No, because I needed to correct you because you already forgot your position title.
Oh yeah, it's going to get used to saying that. So the
Yeah. We can talk
COO,
about that later.
but that's down the
Yeah,
road.
that's right.
So let's talk about our last expo that we did of the year. By the way, we only did 3, which is plenty. We were in Greenville, North Carolina. We had the pleasure of working with Tim Askew, and he was able to put us on WITN television. And tell us all about kind of what happened and how it all came to be.
So Greenville was a good weekend. It was only a 2-day event. It started out on that Friday around 3 o'clock. You and I went up and met Tim Askew at the WITN. Yeah, the WITN news station. We were live at like 3 or 3:30 on the I can't remember the show now. Sorry, Greenville. We were live on the show talking about our May event and a little bit about what Take a Warrior Fishing's about. So that was a great way to start the weekend. Then we went over, set up in Greenville at the expo and the convention center, and then Friday or Saturday had a really good day. We met quite a few warriors, quite a few boaters, met quite a few connections. Sunday was a little slow, but we overall was probably our most successful networking expo that we had. A huge, and I don't want to get too much about this yet, but we'll have some huge news coming out about easy bait and tackle. Just a little hint, a little filler here, a little teaser with that on this show. But very excited to announce that news coming up. Actually, I guess I've already announced it. Actually, when I think about it, they gave us quite a bit of product, like 10 fishing rods, 9 reels, 2 big bins of baits, full of baits from Gary Yaga, whatever his name is, Z-Man to fish bites, all kinds of stuff, deep creek lures, all of that stuff was in that bag. And then they gave us 2 brand new trolling motors that we're going to raffle off with our next 2 events. So if you do want a trolling motor, go to our link. We got the Maine Coda freshwater version on raffles right now. We'll draw that at April 19th. They're $10 a ticket. But overall, Greenville was a very successful day. We met the Cricket Tube. Need to give them a call. They're a disabled boat that's modified to take disabled veterans, warriors, people out of Morehead City. So they're down in my area. So we need to get connected with them. They're excited to help us out. And then Tim's going to help us next year get a cycle trout event going up in Belhaven, North Carolina, which we're all excited about doing that. So overall, great festival in Greenville. Then Emerald Isle, we had a great day at a St. Patrick's Day festival. Ended up being our number one funding source or one-day income source in any of the expos we did. So the Emerald Isle people were very appreciative and wanted to help us out a lot. So brought in a lot of money from apparel and raffle ticket sales to Emerald Isle. So that was a great day.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of things going on. We did a lot of networking. And just to let people know, during this podcast, if you watch it through its entirety, somewhere, and I'm not going to tell you where we're going to put the question, but if you listen to a question that we're going to ask, one lucky viewer who comments on the answer to the question that we're going to ask will win a plastic lure prize pack. And we're kind of excited because we are growing, as Dwayne mentioned, because all part of our expos and doing what we're doing and being lucky enough to get on television and kind of share Warrior Fishing's mission and that's, fishing heals. All right. And that's through our community that helps us with that. But if you answer the question correctly, which I ain't going to tell you right now, you want to win that prize, and we're kind of excited for it. So, Dwayne, we have some great things going on. We have some, and I'm not going to talk about the event. We'll keep that for later on. But if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe button, like, and comment on our podcast. If there's something that you'd like to see on our podcast, or if you have a question that needs to be answered, please let us know, and we'll make sure to address it.
Let me hear you yell. Fish on, bag it on down, cap. Got her hooked up, break out the gap, brother. Fish on, the line's going tight. Buckle on in, about to be a fight. Gonna make $1 million on the water. Bank account bouncing like a bobber. I got another fish on. Yeah, I got a fish on. Fishon, you know when F-I-S.
All right, folks, and now for our special guest, we have Mr. Doug Phillips. Doug Phillips is part of FLR Outdoors Inc. and Piedmont Bass Classics. And it is an honor to have Doug Phillips on our show today. Doug, how are you doing?
Good. And how are you?
Oh, we're doing great. Thank you for asking, sir.
There you go.
Hold
I
on.
don't know what to do with my hands. Hey, what's going on?
Go behind you.
Kind of like on Talladega Nights when he kept going like this.
Good time. Good time.
That's right. That'll be
So,
the only
Dwayne,
time
I know-
I'm funny tonight.
Oh, come on now. I know. So, Dwayne, you've been working with Doug for how long now with Take a Warrior Fishing?
This will be our second event with Doug, officially doing an event. We met him by chance a little over a year ago. I was over a year ago, probably 18 months ago. And he's retired. At the time, he wasn't retired, but now he is retired from the Army. And he's got the Bass Trail Piedmont Bass Classics. He's got his Faith, Love, and Respect, I believe is what FLR stands for. Is that right, Doug?
Yep. Faith, love, respect.
Yep. So
Like
he's
that.
got his outdoor nonprofit as well, and he was doing this before he partnered with us. I'm pretty sure he used to do it Warriors on the Water. Warriors on the Water folded a few years ago, and he found out about us and wanted to partner with us. So we have the same ideas about helping get the military folks onto the water, and it's just been a awesome experience. Last year we had it was in the 40s, 42 to 48. I can't remember the number of boats. This year we're up around 58 to 60 boats, give or take. So it's growing, and it'll be at Jordan this year, and excited about making it happen. And the day before the event, we have a mix. So the unique thing about Doug's events, he likes having a mixer the night before or the weekend before. So we're having a mixer where the warriors can get together with the boaters, rub elbows, get to know each other, and then come out the next day or the next weekend and slay the fish after the plan that they just made. So good time.
That's right. So, Doug, let's a lot of people probably don't even know who you are, and so I give everyone a quick roll up of who is Doug Phillips.
Everybody knows Doug.
Yeah, quick roll up. I don't know. I'm married to my lovely wife, Gretchen. I've got 9 kids, ranging in age from a set of twins that are 2 up to 28, and spent 30 some odd years in the military. Started out as a construction surveyor, just knew I didn't want to be a dairy farmer anymore, and ended my career as a senior leader in the medical side of the house, doing anesthesia. And so I've taken a couple trips downrange and done some combat tours and been with some guys down there, and I just have an affinity for fishing, and I realize what it can do for you both spiritually and mentally. So I've really been banging away at this kind of activity since about 2009. Other than that, I'm just an average fisherman, average hunter, all around, get outdoors and let's go do it.
That's right. So what got you into doing the Piedmont Bass Classic scene, and also with FLR Outdoors LLC?
So one came before the other. We officially started FLR Outdoors, and had it kind of just on the burner. Went through the paperwork, making logos, getting people to understand, where the idea behind that comes, and faith, love, and respect. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But we had that, and I was tournament fishing on the same trail, and did so with for a couple years. One time with my wife, one time with my buddy Mark Tuck over at Blessed Bet Baits, and just really enjoyed it. Enjoyed, even if I didn't catch fish, I enjoyed being around the guys, listening. And when I came home and told my wife, I said, I think we ought to pick this up. It might help us, leverage what we're trying to do with FLR Outdoors, and at least give us a claw in the wall on it to try to move it forward. So we probably made the worst fiscal decision you could ever make, which is buying an outdoor trail that requires people to spend lots of money on fuel in the middle of a pandemic. So we learned our lessons up front on that, and got ourselves into the Piedmont Bass Classics there. And then from there, it's just been tackle shops, the local bait makers, the local rod makers, the local boat dealers. We want to keep the majority of what Piedmont Bass Classics does in this area in the Piedmont. We want to highlight businesses that are available to the folks that not only fish the trail, but fish recreationally or require a service. We've got A&S Heating and Cooling. If you need something done with your unit at your house, those are the guys. We want folks to really, see what we can offer as far as the fishing trail is concerned, but at the same time, really delve into the community and get a better understanding of what folks need.
That's awesome, man. So when you started it to where it's at now, have you seen growth in what you're doing?
From the Piedmont Bass Classics side, absolutely. It's a big change. We issue 1099s. We, electronically keep track of things. We use a Wayfish application. We track the data in the lakes that we fish at the different times of the year, and we share that back and forth with North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission, and work actively with them on their F1 projects, their habitat projects. So from a day one to now, we just closed out North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission's requirement on Sharon Harris Lake with the tournament that we just did up there. So they've got all the DNA sampling they needed from Sharon Harris Falls and Jordan Lake by coming to our weigh-in. So thanks to the anglers for that, because those were all sampled fish, were all 5 pounds or better. And fish we wanted to do, which was establish a foothold into the fishery itself. Landing, how do we get pressure off of it, but still allow the guys to have tournaments? This year we shifted into that. We combined with Carolina Anglers Team Trail on 2 events, so that guys are out there bringing in 5 bass instead of 2 separate tournaments weighing 10 bass, and that's a biology thing there. Water temperatures above 60 degrees, up to 40% of tournament caught bass will die within 72 hours. So by reducing the number of events that we do where guys are fishing for fish, we hope to reduce that. We also reduced the number of events. When I bought the trail, I think we had 26. and we've got it down to 8 in the championship this year, and still paying out the $10,000.
Oh, wow.
And
Prize
when
purse.
we actually increase the individual payouts the day of. So we're doing our best to try to get, the money back into the anglers' hands as best we can, and not sink from the FLR outdoor side of things. And with that, with the job that I actually do and the job that I did in the Army, if you saw me, you had a bad day, period. You don't see a guy like me unless you have experienced combat and you've got holes in you. And, the first time I went was late 2003. I went back a number of different times. 2003 was into Baghdad. Extremely bloody, extremely long days, 16-hour days sometimes. You wouldn't know what day of the week it was. You wouldn't know what time of the day it was when you walked out of the operating room. So it was a pretty significant emotional event, let's just put it that way. And so as I kept going back to combat, I began to really understand that I'm the last person that people talk to, and I'm a stranger, and I've got a kid laying on the table upside down to me. I'm getting ready to put him to sleep, and I'm telling him how proud I am of what he's done on the battlefield that day, or she's done that day, letting him know I'm going to take care of him, and take a big deep breath. You're going to go off to sleep. And it didn't dawn on me until near the very end of the first deployment that a lot of those guys I put to sleep never woke back up ever again. They died in places like the burn unit in San Antonio, or Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Landstuhl, Germany, or on the plane going back. And so I really changed my entire outlook on everything. I changed my leadership style. I changed how I deal with people. And I really did that because what 3 things people asked me for consistently, whether they were good people, bad people, enemies, coalition forces, men, women, you name it, across Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, Africa, what they asked me for was to pray with them, to deliver a message of love back home to some family member knowing that I'd never be able to do it. And a lot of them had more of a concern for the individuals that they were with than they had for themselves. And it is hard to know that somebody in front of you has mortal wounds. You're going to do your very best to save them, but they're in that 1 to 3% chance of survival rate, and you're doing your very best to make those last moments helpful to them and give them some solace. And so that's where faith, love, and respect comes from, because I figured if that's what people were reaching for when they were at their very worst, then what we ought to do is emulate that while we're upright and walking around. And so that's really the foundation of FLR Outdoors. And for me, allowed me to sort of, get rid of that static and keep bottom. And you're like, oh, that's a rock. Oh no, wait a minute. I'm stuck. No, that's a fish. I'm tight. And you're just focused in on that. You're not thinking about anything else. You're not thinking about any other time. It allows you to really just sort of just hone in on wellness for yourself. And so I started in 2009 as a participant in an event, the Real American Heroes Foundation up in Virginia. When I moved down here in 2012, we opened up a chapter here. We worked for 2 years here, and then they retracted back up to Virginia. I did a couple of charity events here and there that helped Special Operations Warrior Foundation, a couple others. And then when I picked up this trail, I decided, hey, this is the time to put on an event annually, and really let it grow. And up until which you may or may not know, Hal Abshire started that up eons ago. And so, it was sort of sad to see it go, but it's the reality of some of the things that happened due to supply chain management, things like that in the pandemic. So this is the very best attempt to sort of bring that back to life. And if it ends up being the only thing that FLR Outdoors and Piedmont Bass Classics does in the future, that'd be fine by me. I think it's that important.
That's right.
For the community that we live in.
So let me ask you this question. So, oh no, you're doing great. And it's definitely a great story to share. It does symbolize so much about who you are, how you do it, and why you do it. And so my next question, I think we already know the answer based off what you just said, but why Take a Warrior Fishing Outdoors? Why Take a Warrior Fishing Inc.? Why support that mission?
Why support Dwayne and his organization? So one of the other things I did during this process, 2000 till currently, is mingled with that had nothing to do with what I do every single day of my life. I motivation is. And, you know, it's the outdoor industry. So folks want to make money. They want to, you know, get sponsorships, that sort of thing. And so as I would work the Bassmaster Classic and, you know, and sort of work my way to where I'm at now, I got a really good appreciation right off the bat about, and in my, you know, my job, I got to know people, but of who's somebody that you want to latch onto and shake a hand, and who's somebody that you really just need to walk away from. And, you know, in the process of that, you get burned here and you get burned there, and you learn your lessons, you lick your wounds, and you go on your way. So for me, the mission and the vision under Take a Warrior Fishing is too easy. It's the same. Whether it's an annual event, I think the importance of doing it is Dwayne can keep as they ignite us, you know, and I can come and send a message to Dwayne, and I can do it, you know, when I need to get out on the water, and Dwayne's going to find somebody to get those guys out there. So because that piece right there is so important to me, and Dwayne's keeping it up, Gretchen and I, my wife, made a decision that, you know, we're done looking at 501c3s to partner with in this endeavor. And not to say that we wouldn't let other folks, you know, come on in and let's have a big old gala of every single organization like this all at one time. That might be a future end state. But for right now, this is the match. This is working well. Aside from Dwayne sending me Excel spreadsheets that are not in the order I want them to be, we're doing great.
That's a Coast Guard thing right
My
there.
bad.
That's all Coast Guard.
It's something about the alphabet, and I'm like, I can't do the alphabet. The thing's in wayfish like this. Don't send me the alphabet. I don't know who's who. But
that's right.
But no, that's the reason why. And so, you know, being able to get those guys out there and having that as your primary mission to me is just too important. And whatever we have to do to sort of support that, we're gonna do that. And again, that goes back to the community in general. You know, we've got Fort Bragg right. It's 2 miles from my house to the border of Fort Bragg. So that whole installation in the Army itself is near and dear to me. We got Cherry Point, North Carolina, not too far from here. You got a ton of reserve units that are all around us here in the RDU and across the state. And so there's a lot of law enforcement. Obviously, your first responders, all those folks are out there, and all those folks have gone through some stuff like I have. And if I just get one that gets out there and this becomes the thing that keeps them upright and with us, then I'm good. Then we won. So for me, it's just it's not anything other than I want to help other people like I've been helped.
That's right.
So Ken, I want to add something. As you can see, Doug's awesome. As you can see, Doug is a pretty awesome individual. And he mentioned so thank you, Doug, for everything you're doing. I appreciate the partnership, because I don't do this for me. We do it for as we call it, the Warriors. And I appreciate you coming to us and agreeing to do this. You had the event, but you didn't know about us, and I appreciate you trusting us enough the first time to partner to do the event. And other than my Excel spreadsheets, I try to do everything I can to make it right, and I'll fix that spreadsheet stuff. But one thing that you mentioned, so I've moved to the coast since Doug and I met the first time, and he mentioned Cherry Point and Fort Bragg. So in between where I live now and where you guys are in the Triangle, we've got Fort Bragg, we got the National Guard units in Raleigh, we got Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, we got Cherry Point, we've got New River, we've got Camp Lejeune, we've got the Coast Guard base at Fort Macon, we've got Sector Wilmington, which is Coast Guard. We've got like 4 or 5 different Coast Guard bases on the coast between here and the Brunswick County, North Carolina, which is the southern tip of the coast of North Carolina. So this state alone, when I first wanted to do this mission, it was to expand the southeast United States. But we've got so many opportunities for military alone that we really don't. I mean, the need, that's not the right word to say, but the need's not really to move out. We got so much here. So with that said, thanks, Doug, for all you've done and what you do for us. We look forward to this every year, and I'm excited about doing Jordan this year for the first time. Seeing how we do out there with a bigger ramp and potentially bigger bass. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
yeah, and the reason why we started out. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
I was going to say the reason when we did the very first one, I had gotten some phone calls from some guys in the tobacco industry, and part of what Piedmont had done in the past was tobacco bass invitational. And a lot of those gentlemen, had aged out of fishing, and there really wasn't a large foothold of those individuals fishing the trail anymore, but they wanted something. And, I thought, hey, we'll do a combined warrior event and tobacco bass invitational. I think we had 16 or 17 boats, and still had a great time, still had some awesome camaraderie in the whole 9 yards. And we did that on Falls Lake. And then after that, I moved down to Sharon Harris for the second and the third year. And the reason why I chose Sharon Harris is just because of the size of the lake is manageable. Somebody that may not be able to be out on the water all day long. You launch from a place like that's a haul. If that's where the fish are at and that's where you're running to, you're gonna be in the boat for a while. And maybe some of these guys can't do that. So we selected Sharon Harris for the first couple of years just to see how that played out. And I think after last year, really seeing that there were no restrictions required as far as space and time in a boat and that sort of thing. It was a great idea for Pete and Dwayne and Chelsea to say, hey, let's go back to where Warriors of the Water used to be, which was at New Hope Ramp. On Jordan Lake. So excited to sort of go there and get it going over there next weekend.
Well, I'll tell you, that's awesome. We are excited about next weekend. I know I'm excited. I know we have the mixer on Friday, and I know once we get off with you here, me and Dwayne, we're going to continue on with this podcast. But thank you, sir, for your time. And again, we look forward to seeing you at the mixer sir. On 18 April, and then definitely on the 19th, early morning, Safe Flight. And we're going to talk about Safe Flight here in a second for those that do not know what Safe Flight is. But Dwayne, I'm good. If you got anything else for Mr. Doug Phillips?
No, Doug, I just want to again just thank you. Can't ever thank you enough for what you do for us. Can't thank you even more for the service you did for the country. Definitely the injuries you've gotten from that, you get to experience every day you wake up.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for your service. Thanks for what you do, what you continue to do, and look forward to keep us going as long.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Appreciate your time. Thanks for having me on. Look forward to seeing you guys next weekend. Saucy Cravings. We're going to have some chicken. It's going to be fantastic. Wild Dogs Brewing, downtown Sanford. You can have the back area to mingle and talk in the whole 9 yards. Craig Krause and his team over there are great. So super excited about all that and getting to the ramp and putting my hands on some fish. See what we can't bring out of that lake.
That's right. All right, Doug, well, you have yourself a good day, sir. We will see you in about 6 days.
Yes, sir.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Doug.
All right.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. So that was Mr. Doug Phillips of FLR Outdoors LLC and the Piedmont Bass Classic. All right. So let's talk about it. Dwayne, we got April 19th, our big kickoff event of the year. What is it? The Spring Warrior Clash, Jordan Lake, New Hope Boat Ramp, kicking off.
Yep.
Early morning. So let's talk about what is Safe Flight. If I say Safe Flight, you obviously know what Safe Flight is, but for those warriors who are, coming to join us for the very first time or may not know what Safe Flight is, what is the term Safe Flight?
So safe light typically means it's going to be before sunset. It's going to be when the light is safe enough for you to take off on your vessel. Last year, safe light was after sunset because it was so foggy. So we had to wait until it was safe for everyone to maneuver. We're hoping this year. I talked to Doug last week. I think you were on that call. We're shooting for blast off to be around 7 a.m., which means it's going to be early morning. We're going to have all the warriors start arriving about 5:30 in the morning, which we'll send something out here this week about it. And I know some of you are getting excited and antsy, but we have not made the boat assignments yet. We're going to start doing that probably on Monday. And the reason is we have such a revolving door of people dropping out and some dropping in. We probably had over 20 people that's dropped out in the last 2 weeks between boaters and warriors. So there's no reason and no way we can make an assignment up until about a week before the event. So we'll start sending that stuff out between Monday night and Tuesday with the boat assignments, all the logistics for what to do for Friday night, Saturday event, what time you need to be there, what the target fish is, which is bass in this one. I meant to ask Doug so we could talk about it a little bit more, but last year we had a slot at Jordan with the bass. This year you have to be 14 inches or bigger. So the five biggest fish, at least 14, is what's going to win. We'll do a prize for the largest catch. We might do a prize for the smallest catch. We'll see. But this was a little different because you can't bring in the smallest catch here. So we're not sure how we'll do that one bass, but we'll definitely do the largest catch. So looking forward to it. And I don't know if you got this in my own here, but I'm gonna jump the gun a little bit, and because I'm working for our May event too. So May 17th in Beaufort at Town Creek Marina, we got the first saltwater event that Warrior Fishing is going to be hosting, and that's at Town Creek Marina. I'm excited about that one. But just because it's the first one, I live on the coast. I was in the Coast Guard, so looking forward to that one. Looking forward to all of them. Looking forward to the April 19th because it's our kickoff. Looking forward to May 17th because it's our first saltwater. Then we got September kayak, November Sharon Harris. Got a lot of stuff going on, so it's going to be an exciting year.
So how does someone like say, hey, I want to volunteer for this event, or a warrior wants to sign up, or a boater says, hey, I can hear this podcast. Sounds like you're having, you can use some more boaters. Where would they go to be part of this amazing organization?
warriorfishing.org, and you can either sign up for 3 different ways to get your name in. You can go to the event page and then scroll down and hit RSVP and then sign up either as a volunteer, a boater, or a warrior. Or you can just go to the contact page and same thing, boater, volunteer, or warrior. And then you and I will get it, and between both of us, you'll get some type of confirmation that we got your submission.
That's right. So
where you can get all the information that you need about it.
That's right. And so our newsletter just recently got pushed out to all of our warriors and boaters and volunteers within our database. And there was a contest within that newsletter. And I think the more of the importantly is that we're just trying to create content so that people can understand what's the information that's being put out through the newsletter. And there was a contest where they had to find a cartoon bass that was somewhere in that newsletter. And Dwayne, could you tell us who found that bass and who won that prize pack of plastic lures?
Yeah, it was actually one of our active duty warriors, Gary Velos from he's stationed at Bragg. He actually responded very quickly. It was interesting because we got a lot of responses, which was good. But some of the folks were responding with the cartoon. I didn't even realize it until they said it. They were right. There was a cartoon looking. It wasn't cartoon though. It wasn't the cartoon. There was a cartoon looking logo in our Spring Warrior Clash flyer, but that was not a cartoon. So the ones who would respond back like, "Oh yeah, we see it now." So that was cool. We got Gary Below. So he's going to be participating in this April 19th. So congratulations, Gary. I already worked it out with Gary. I'm going to bring his prize to the event on 19th, so we'll have to ship it.
All right, so now we have our own contest for this podcast. Again, trying to create content for those to understand. And the question that we're going to ask, and the first person who, or it's not even really the first person, it's the one who responds that gets the closest to the number that we're about to ask what the question is. So the question is, how many warriors, as of today, let's say, rough estimate, is within our database? Now, that can also include boaters, because we have a lot of warriors who are also boaters. And so that number will count. So the total number, the one with the closest number that gets to it, will win that prize pack of plastic lures. So we're really excited about that. Also, if you are looking to look at us more and find out, hey, how do I get on a fishing trip? Where do I find these flyers for these events? We are on multiple social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So Kayleigh, our one of our directors, is not here this evening. She left us hanging, Dwayne. Something about a dinner.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. No, but she definitely told us well in advance. So we miss you, Kayleigh.
Well, last night she went to the Michael Jackson concert. So then tonight she had some type of dinner at McDonald's or something. I don't know where she's at.
Living her life is what she's doing, is what I'm hearing. But she did send me a video of her stroke. It is actually a really good fish joke. I sent it to Dwayne. I'm gonna input that fish joke into this when I start editing all this for YouTube. It actually is really good. And Kayleigh, that's 2 thumbs up from this bald guy. All right, and the other bald guy. Have you seen it yet?
Hey friends, Kayleigh here, Director of Community Relations and Bad Fish Jokes. Sorry I couldn't be on the podcast with you guys tonight. I was actually out to dinner with the fam. We were at the Pizza Hut and we saw a lobster working there. He was at the crust station. I know you guys would love that one. I'm super excited to see everybody at our spring clash on the 19th. I can't wait. Hope to see everybody there. Bye.
No, my internet's been going in and out, so I didn't have time to watch it before we started.
So it's really good. She told me that I think she tried recording it 5 different times, but she kept laughing the first 4 times. So it is interesting. So real quick, like we do with every podcast, sponsor shout out. Who do you got, Dwayne? We're not even watching it and we're laughing.
Yeah. We got the North Carolina Army National Guard, Southern Harvest Hospitality Group, Deep Creek Lures, Easy Bait and Tackle, State Farm with the Josh Benton Insurance Agency out of Holly Springs, Black Ops Tackle, Park Cosmetology out of Nightdale, Topwater Company, which I believe they're out of Florida, Seegars Fence and Company at the Fayetteville branch, and then we got our newest one this is the one that I'm going to bring. We haven't really announced yet, but it'll be Go Prime Mortgage, and I'll have more information about them later. But they're our newest title sponsor, and we're going to be very excited about making an announcement with the partnership with them. And as always, I can't name everybody because it would be here all night. But the companies that are sending us their custom baits, so we got Best Folk out of Oklahoma, a very small company that sends us stuff. Amy Adams Baits, and of course Lazy Baits. And it's just all kinds. So we got we got a big shipment of a special prizes that we're going to be giving out in April. That every participant will be getting. Ken knows what I'm talking about. I don't want to ruin that one yet either. I'll be a surprise for all the attendees that come. So we'll announce that. We'll show everybody and talk about that at the next event. The next podcast. But it's just overwhelming, not in a bad way, in a grateful way, of the support that we receive from companies and individuals with sending us product or just the support of volunteering their time that we get almost on a daily basis now. It's other than overwhelming feeling. I don't know how to explain it. It's just an awesome feeling to get the support that we are receiving, because we can't do it without the volunteers, and the products that we do receive. So I wish I could name everybody. It's just so much. I'd have to get a really long list to do that, and we will eventually.
That's right. And that's I told Dwayne when I came on board back in January, and something that I think I've definitely backed up my play is we can only get bigger and better, and it's one step at a time.
Yep.
Like a child, you can't expect that baby to jump up and run. And so Dwayne's created this amazing nonprofit organization, and I came on board. We had some other people come on board. We just got some other people on board that we'll talk about at another podcast. And we're growing, and we're growing for a good reason. And we have I'm going to say this secret project we have going on in the great state of Kansas, and that's as much as I'm going to say, because I'm a firm believer. I'm a tangible person, if you know what that means. I know Dwayne does. So if I can't taste it, if I can't touch it, and I can't smell it, all it is talk. But right now, we have a special thing going on in Kansas. Hopefully that comes to fruition really soon. But we're growing, and that's going to be definitely an indicator, I think, in a few months to come. So, Dwayne, that's all I have for this evening. Do you have anything you'd like to add before we close this out?
No, I just thank you all for everything you do, making this happen. The newsletter. So if you're all wondering, Ken is behind the brains behind the podcast, the brains behind the newsletter. So that stuff wouldn't happen pre-January. So thanks, Ken, for making us bigger, better, and more open, and reaching more warriors. So appreciate everything you do. Thank you. Hey, we don't give enough credit. I do want to say one more thing. We don't give enough credit. We do give a lot of credit. We don't give enough shout outs to our boaters. So thank you to every boater that helps us, because we cannot do 100% could not do an event without the volunteer boaters that utilize us. So thank you so much for all the boaters that donate their time and fuel and gear and boats to make these events happen. We try to reward you as well for participating in all of our events too. So thank you, boaters, for all of you that are out there. Other than that, I'm excited about next week. Good to hang out with you in a camper for a night. For you, Rick, and old Don Juan. So looking forward to getting out to Sanford Friday night, and then Jordan Lake all day Saturday, and then coming back for Easter on Sunday. So ready to go.
All right. And for those who are about to fish, we salute you.